I was born and raised in East Orange. We moved to Madison. The one teacher that pretty much decided that the regular conventional school for me was not for me. And Aggie White, and she had said that I think if we, suspend, Sonny until such time as he can come out and legally, resign from school at age 16, and I went right to work at Park Avenue Garage with Dickie DBS. And I just loved what I was doing, and I was happy. I mean, the school wasn't for me. People at the New York Coliseum saying, geez, I'd like my card done. And I'm like, and then my mom and dad were getting phone calls at their house about this body shop, which there was none. But then I had to find one. And I found a shop. Cars to me are just like having a painting maybe by Picasso. Why would you spend that much money for a painting? Well, number one, you have to really love it, the art, and just to know that you have something that there's only maybe one of. If you have a piece and you feel as though it's that nice, you put it in that arena where it's judged by people like myself that build cars. Because I traveled the circuit, and they would have, I think, the East Coast, Midwest, and then the West Coast cars. There would be different circuits. And I ventured out of my backyard, for lack of a better term. Like at the end of the show, the awards I really wanted to win were Best Paint Show, People's Choice. And I'm pretty much known for, like, if Sonny painted this thing, look at the edges of the door, Look inside the door, you won't even see it's probably painted. I remember one time when I entered a car in the New York Coliseum. That's where it was debuted, and it was a '62 Corvette, and the frame was just absolutely insane. And they were looking it over, and they had little like dental mirrors, and there was only about 1/4 of an inch from the body to the top of the frame, and it was all done that you couldn't even see. A fellow that I knew, and one of the people in the industry that I have a lot of respect for, is Big Daddy Ed Roth. I mean, he'd put you'd have the headlights in the front of the car, but they'd all be off to the left. Then the other side there'd be a scoop. And I sort of like that concept rather than, symmetrical. And when you get into this business and you do so many, you're challenging yourself on what can I do that's maybe even, I've had it said to me like, Sonny, this is sick. Like on a motorcycle tank, I remember one time I took a pair of laced underwear from a girl would stretch it over the tank and then pulled it at different angles and taped it and had it look all, that was for the drummer for Tommy James and Shondells, Pete Lucia, that wrote Crimson and Clover. I think perfection and crazy is almost like the same type of, it's the same meaning. A little sweetheart here. It's like a female, it's a little moody sometimes. A very, very creative man. I mean, he does some beautiful fabrication. He called me up one night and he said, why don't you come down? He said the car that actually Roger Moore was going to drive in the movie Live and Let Die. He said, do one of your pearl paint jobs on this, I said, yeah, okay. And I just like it was yesterday. It was freezing cold, snowing. I'm coming from Mine Hill, New Jersey to Boonton. And I walk into the shop, and it was a bad, snowy night. The heat was on, and coffee and donuts, and there was the car all ready for paint. And I'm like, whoa! Put a nice pearl paint job on it. And I love him as a person and a friend, but like I had said in the previous, he's a fabricator, he's a designer, he's a builder. And what he was building was hot at the time. Everybody wanted one, whether it be the Corvette or the Cabalista. The Cabalista I personally like because he took that miniature Eldorado and he made something that was completely custom. Cadillac was building Eldorados, and you couldn't get an Eldorado in the 70s. It was a hot thing to have. If you didn't have an Eldorado, you didn't have it. So I says, if I could create a small miniature Eldorado, my customers would have another car. That's something that Detroit can't do. And I did fancy paint jobs.
Oh yeah,
I did a lot
yeah.
of them. I did motorcycles. We never had any problems.
Nope.
And if someone came in and they wanted something that is, well, I'm going to go to the New York Coliseum, or I'm going to go to Cobo Hall, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I want you to paint the car, and I want you to do it.
Yep.
Time out. You don't want me to do it. I can build it, but if you're going to go into it for trophy, competition, detail, you don't want any gnats in this thing, you don't want a speck of dust in it, I says, go see Sonny. And if you're going to go into a car show in competition today, you got to go in with a good pocketbook. But you could have the biggest pocketbook in the world and have the wrong builder.
Correct.
And you're not going to win.
Perfect.
They're going to make mistakes that took us 30 years to figure out. And if they knew what that mistake was and how to correct it, they could cut that 15-year learning program down to maybe 10. Or if they're really good, maybe down to 5. I feel a soft spot in my heart for the guys that don't have that money. And they are in the cruise nights. And they're the ones that are coming up with rat rods.
Yep.
And I still go back to the childhood days.
Yep.
And those guys will be the next. Somebody will spring out of that that era of people and hopefully jump in the shoes, step above us because we're the old dogs, and take this whole sport to another level. There's no such thing as a perfect year or a week or a month or whatever, but I had a lot of good memories of things I've done. I really loved it, and I looked at it as family.
Antron Brown and Sean Langdon both have clinched. Antron is far and away #1. We've seen some pretty cool vehicles around these tracks, but I think Antron just may have found a winner. In this week's Getting Down with Brown, Antron has invited custom car builder Sonny Croughn out to Maple Grove. Get a look at his motorcycle dragster hybrid. It's the Dare to Be Bad trike.
Everybody knows I race pro stock motorcycle, and now I drive Top Fuel. But never in a million years I ever think that I'll find something that fits both worlds. I'm standing right next to me is Sonny Croughn. He built an unbelievable vehicle. Just take us through it real quick, Sonny.
Well, it's half motorcycle, half dragster.
Yeah.
Everybody said it fit your profile. I think it does. 850 horsepower, weighs 1,250 pounds. I'm looking to go down a track, hopefully as fast and as thrilling as the ride you get.
I know you will. Why don't you crank this baby up? 'Cause I know that front end never touched the ground, does it? Oh, this is awesome. Check this out.
Oh, got the strobe action growing and everything. Antron Brown now in the cockpit of his Top Fuel.